private sector like the Nazi SS. That's what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying. We're going to have our own Gestapo that's going to run these concentration camps. That's exactly what he's saying.
Build that system from scratch. What's that somebody said about ad hoc legal strategies? Just for context here, in the United Kingdom, where there isn't even a Bill of Rights, there's been a major debate about whether people can be held in preventive detention. Former British Prime Minister Tony Blair wanted 3 months to be the outer limit for how long anyone could be held. There was a big political fight about it. Parliament ended up limiting that power to 28 days. 28 days is still the longest period of preventive detention that's allowed under law in any comparable democracy anywhere in the world. How long would President Obama's proposed preventive indefinite detention last? Well, he's not saying yet, but here's how he defines the threat that he says makes indefinite detention necessary.
Right now, in distant training camps and in crowded cities, there are people plotting to take American lives. That will be the case a year from now, 5 years from now, and in all probability 10 years from now.
10 years from now. So you could get arrested today and locked up without a trial, without being convicted, without being sentenced for, say, 10 years until the threat of your future criminal behavior passes. Prolonged detention, he's calling it. This was a beautiful speech from President Obama today with patriotic, moving, even poetic language about the rule of law and the Constitution, and one of the most radical proposals for defying the Constitution that we have ever heard made to the American people.
Okay, so we heard everything that he said, right? All right, let's go here. Okay, let's see what he has to say right here. We heard all that.
Plans to imprison American citizens have generated a lot of interest around the country in locating the potential prison camps throughout the country. These may be facilities currently being used as prisons, such as those you saw earlier, or prisons that are being built supposedly in the name of the war on drugs, or facilities that have other uses but which could be quickly used to detain large numbers of people, such as this Amtrak facility in Beech Grove, Indiana. We're standing now in the main parking.
Now listen what she said. She said an Amtrak facility in Beech Grove, Indiana. Okay, why is the other concentration camp in Ohio? Now, for those of you who don't know, Indiana and Ohio are neighboring states. Indiana is extremely racist as hell, and so is Ohio. Now let me explain something to you so you can understand. Around those states are all the states in America that are predominated melanated people. What I'm saying to you is this. Indiana itself has a large population of black people. So does Michigan, so does Ohio, so does Illinois, so does Virginia, so does Pennsylvania, and so does the state of New York, as well as the state of Connecticut, as well as the state of Maryland, as well as the state of Washington, D.C. So all you black people better pay attention to the fact that they're putting these concentration camps strategically placed around the large urban neighborhoods that is housing all of us melanated people. They are planning on murdering our black asses in those freaking supposed to be FEMA camps. You do not need no damn FEMA camp this big. This lady said it is an abandoned Amtrak train station. Listen to this.
In the name of the war on drugs, or facilities that have other uses but which could be quickly used to detain large numbers of people, such as this Amtrak facility in Beech Grove, Indiana. We're standing now in the main parking lot, which...
I want to show you something. That movie, I had a movie called Escape from Sobibor. I let somebody use it and I never got it back. They went and they got all those people and brought them to a big area like this in that movie and just plopped their asses in there with their suitcases and everything. They didn't care. They left them out in the rain, the whatever the elements had, the adverse weather conditions, they did not care. They just brought all the people there and dropped their asses there. People with suitcases and instruments and carrying all that shit, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, can these people really be this stupid and this materialistic? You see soldiers coming with military vehicles forcing you to get out of your homes, and that's not smart enough for you to think that these people was getting ready to kill me. They were so obedient and tranquil and put into a state of irreversible transients. They went willingly without 1 ounce of fight, spent 2 or 3 weeks under these bad conditions like this, just left with nothing. Feces everywhere, urinating everywhere, no food. What people did bring food in with them, they got their ass beat and their food took. You know, it was just horrible how they had reduced those people. And then after 2 weeks of starving them to death where they didn't have no energy or anything, they pulled the trains up finally and loaded their ass on the trains and took them to the destination where they were going to be finalized at, meaning killed. So I want you to understand that this is not a joke. All you people out there that's mad at me because you think I opened my big mouth and told some shit about you that you wanted to keep a secret forever, let me explain something to you. You better be trying to get your shit together and quit worrying about what other people gonna think about the mistakes you made with your life, because the only person that really need to think hard about the mistakes you've made in your life is yourself. You gotta recognize the fact that the God energy that's necessary for you to change yourself and rise above all these convictions and go forward and try to make sure you don't make any more bad mistakes in your life is what's trying to talk to you by calling your name out through me. So you better get it and understand that these concentration camps could be where you end up at, and then you end up dead real soon. So right now you don't have no option to sit your ass around and think you're gonna hate a Tsar with his big ass mouth, when the thing about it is you should just learn from your mistakes just like I do, and don't be ashamed of none of these sorry ass people on this earth who you know ain't never did shit for you but set up a circumstance where we all work together to end up in these damn detention camps because of our hatred and our separatism from one another, and because of our desires to hide in the world of let me keep that on the down low and don't let no one know that I'm capable of doing some shit like that. Well, you know you did it, and so does the God inside of you know. So don't worry that the rest of the world know now. All your ass need to worry about is what type of mentality of your consciousness you're going to be to develop by the time you end your ass up in here. Because this is planning for everybody ass, all right? And all you assholes set up there and rejected the help from the light ship by rejecting me. So guess what? That's what they was wanting. That's all these white people was waiting on, for your asses to turn down the help that they know can kill them and make them stop all this shit. But since you rejected it, we just gonna see what happens.
Doesn't look too sinister. At this level, it is a very large parking lot, fenced on all sides by fence topped by barbed.
See, here's what's funny. This is not no foreign invasion coming here to do this to you. This is you doing it to yourself. I want you to understand that. By you not buying the green light, you signed your ticket to go to this place right here. Know that. Because there was only one person on this earth who could stop this shit from happening, and that's me. And you guys showed me you don't want my help. So let's all get ready to take our train ride.
Wire. It also has these electronically operated turnstiles. There was also a surveillance camera, just like we saw at the Fema facility, pointing out to the parking lot, and a helicopter windsock. All of these apparent security measures are particularly unusual here, because this is a very low crime area, and this facility is nothing but an old train repair station with nothing in it worth stealing. In this portion of the parking lot is a brick building, suitable for processing, next to a gate that leads right out to the railroad tracks. And all of this is contained inside a fully fenced area, now 3 layers deep in fencing at this point. This U.S. Air Force train indicates federal and military involvement. Facing the opposite direction, you can see that this area, too, is a very large fenced area with railroad track running the length of the fence and plenty of warehouses. This facility was supposed to have closed in June of 1993, yet instead several $1 million in federal funds have been spent on supposed renovations over the past 2 years. Helicopter windsocks and markers are evident throughout the property. This small building is the only way into a particular fenced area. Inside this building, we see more of the motion-activated detectors, electronic turnstiles, and prison bars. All of the renovations to this property have involved putting in new fencing, electronic turnstiles, concrete flooring in unused warehouse buildings, and putting in large gas furnaces on buildings that were never heated any time in the past 20 years. Outside this building is fencing and a cattle run section of fence, all topped by barbed wire, pointing inward, not to keep people out, but to keep people in. This was common throughout the facility, particularly the new fencing that had been erected. Inside the fenced area on the other side of the building, you'll see signs that say Red Zone, right up next to the railroad tracks that run the length of the fenced area. Next to the Red Zone sign, you can see closely numbered markers on the fences that are too closely spaced to be parking markers, just as if they plan to have people line up to board the trains. Here's a helicopter marker on the power lines outside the facility, indicating expected helicopter traffic, and again, another tall radio antenna. Looking around, you can get an idea of how huge this place is and how many people it could contain in its fenced-in area. In yet another fenced area, we see a large warehouse building at the end, with the electronic turnstiles in front of it. The building is one that has a new concrete floor, and its doors and windows have all been blocked. Outside, there are new gas pipes. Even as we were filming, a black helicopter flew over us, observing what we were doing, which has happened many times when we have been at the facility.
I want you to take a good look at this.
Outside, there are new gas pipes.
You know what that's for?
Even as we were filming, a black helicopter flew over us, observing what we were doing, which has happened many times when we have been at the facility. The gas lines and gas pipes at the facility run the length of the buildings. And come out at some very, very large, brand new furnaces that have been installed at the buildings throughout the facility.
See, I want you all to know something. All this stuff right here, all this organized mass murder shit that we looking at, this is what has gone on this earth for the last 6,000 years. Which means a lot of us had incarnated over and over and over only to be treated like this by these same corrupt ass people, alright? This spirit of Asar that's on the earth right now is the spirit of regeneration. Which means that all the bullshit consciousness that's got us all stagnated because we're so worried about what other people are going to think about us because we have lost our knowledge of our God and God itself. So if you stop worrying about what other people are going to think about you, that's not more important than what you think about yourself. Okay? Stop walking around here trying to act like somebody done mistreated you by saying to you what God wanted you to hear. That's what that's all about. You all can sit up and be stuck on white ass loving Jesus if you want to, but I'm going to tell you something. White ass Jesus is not going to stop you or help you prevent eventually ending up in this place right here. Now all those people that's 40 plus, you better believe that you are the first person that they have in mind of getting rid of. The old first. Because you old. Alright? So that means that the young people that's between the ages of 5 and 15, they already got a desire to keep.